Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce is considered by many to be the gold standard at the position. It's safe to assume that a majority of those same people would likely consider Las Vegas Raiders rookie Brock Bowers to be the future. Both players led their respective teams in receiving in the Chiefs' 27-20 win over the Raiders on Sunday at Allegiant Stadium, as Kelce hauled in 10 catches for 90 yards in his first touchdown of the season, while Bowers logged 5 catches for 58 yards. The sixth time in 8 games he had 5 or more receptions and 50 or more receiving yards. It was clear both Kelce and Bowers have mutual respect for one another, which was emphasized during the post-game moment the two shared after the final whistle. "I'm happy as hell for you," Kelce told Bowers. "Keep doing your thing. I'm going to shoot my jersey to your locker." Kelce also told Bowers he wants one of his jerseys for tight end U, the 3-day summit he started back in 2021 with San Francisco 49ers TE George Kittle and retired TE and current Fox broadcaster Greg Olsen, designed to bring together the top tight ends in the league to train together, share tips and give each other advice during the summer. Bowers is having a rookie season for the record books. He's currently on pace for 99 receptions, which would break Sam Laporta's rookie record for receptions by a tight end, 86. He's also on track to tie Jeremy Shockey for the most targets by a rookie tight end, 127, and finish with the third most receiving yards by a rookie TE, 979, behind Mike Ditka, 1,076, and Kyle Pitts, 1,026. Kelce, a 7-time All-Pro, had his best game of the season against the Raiders. It was the first time this year he reached double-digit receptions and hit the 90-yard plateau. There was plenty to celebrate on National Tight Ends Day on Sunday at Allegiant Stadium. One of the best ever at the position, the Chiefs' Travis Kelce, squared off against Raiders rookie phenom Brock Bowers in Kansas City's 27-20 win. Kelce had the better day with a game-high 10 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Bowers was limited to 5 catches for 58 yards. The two met at midfield after the game and Kelce offered the youngster a few words of encouragement. He even said he was going to send his jersey to the Raiders' locker room for Bowers to keep. There was some optimism in the locker room afterwards. But defensive end Clavon Chaisson wasn't ready to talk about any positives after the Raiders' 4th consecutive loss and 2nd straight at home. "I'm not looking at it like that," Chaisson said. "I'm tired of this feeling, the feeling we continuously have coming into this locker room. Especially at home. So I'm never going to try to make that seem like anything less than it is. Until you get a win and you win at home, it's going to continue to feel the same. Every time we lose, there's nothing good about it," Crosby said. "I don't care who we're playing, I expect to win every time out there and be at my best. I don't do moral victories. There were obviously some good things and you have to take those into consideration, but it wasn't good enough. So back to the drawing board." Coach Antonio Pierce said the team was competitive and gave itself a chance. That's how wide receiver Jacoby Myers, who had a team-high 6 catches for 52 yards and a touchdown in his return from an ankle injury, felt as well. "I'm proud of the team first and foremost," said Myers, who missed the Raiders' previous 2 games. "Everyone played as hard as they possibly could and laid it on the line, so I'm straight. I'm proud of the guys for playing the way they did. Still, he knows there is a lot more work to do. I wouldn't call it a silver lining," Myers said. "I'd say it's more like a foundation. We have to build off that. I know there aren't moral victories, but that's something we can work with and hopefully we come out next week and we're even better. Anytime things don't go your way, especially as hard as we go and as hard as we practice, it's going to be frustrating. But it's football. It's a learning experience at the end of the day. If you don't see it as that, it's going to be a long year." 3rd and wrong, the Raiders' defense has excelled on 3rd downs this season. But not Sunday. The Raiders entered the game allowing just a 28.9% 3rd down conversion rate to their opponents, the 2nd best mark in the NFL. Kansas City picked them apart, however. The Chiefs converted 12 of their 16 3rd downs. "We have to get off the field," Pierce said. They did a good job on third down. Patrick Mahomes was really good on third down, did a really good job there. Obviously, they were better in a lot of areas today than us. A few of the conversions the Raiders gave up were short yardage plays. A few others just featured Mahomes making magic. We ran it sometimes. I ran it sometimes, Mahomes said. We threw the ball when we needed to throw the ball. That defense has a lot of different coverages and guys were able to recognize the coverages and execute at a high level, and then I thought we played a pretty good football game offensively. Raiders safety Trayvon Moehrig left the locker room Sunday with the football he intercepted from Mahomes in the third quarter. I try to keep the ball from any interception because it's something to remember after football, Moehrig said. But Mahomes is big, especially after they took the one last year away. Moehrig thought he picked off Mahomes on Christmas Day last year in the Raiders' 20-14 win in Kansas City, but the play was changed to an incompletion after video review. There was no doubt Sunday. Moehrig had a clean interception after the ball was tipped in the backfield by defensive tackle John Jenkins. It always feels good to get a turnover, but it wasn't just me. Moehrig said. It was a tip from Big Jenk and it just happened to find my hands. Sometimes that's just how it goes. Jenkins said it helped that the Chiefs were snapping the ball at their own 2-yard line on the play. That meant Mahomes didn't have much room to escape. I knew he'd either run out of room or have to force a throw, Jenkins said. So that's all I was thinking about. Get the pressure in his face, and I knew we had a lot of great pass rushers on the outside, so someone was going to get there. I was just trying to do my job. Moehrig did lament that he didn't return the interception for a touchdown. He was dragged down at the 3-yard line. The Raiders' offense lost 5 yards the next 4 plays and turned the ball over on downs. I was trying, Moehrig said. That was the dream. But they wrapped my legs up and then I just tried to make sure I held on to the ball. Early on, the creativity of play calling and utilization of so many diverse and talented players had the well-respected Chiefs defense guessing and even had the Raiders with the lead. Once the Raiders shot out of the cannon, the offense essentially stalled with stars like W.R. Jacoby Myers and rookie sensational T.E. Brock Bowers disappearing like a famed magic show just a few blocks away on the strip. Both men magically reappeared at the end of the game when they couldn't make a difference, yet again, the tired mantra of the season of turnovers. Execution, penalties, and, to be nice, questionable offensive play calling left the guesstimate 30% of Allegiant Stadium that were cheering for the home team, wondering what they had just seen. This Raiders team is desperate for an offensive identity. They faced first and goal at the 3 and were unable to punch it in this week, and they faced first and goal last week and came away with no points. They simply do not make the necessary offensive adjustments you see his coworker Patrick Graham make on the defensive side or any other successful coordinator on any side of the ball. Raider Nation's frustration is mounting. They see what this offense can do, the early drives this and other weeks. So they know that this team can get it done. The Raiders head to Cincinnati next week to face the Bengals, and one thing is certain. With bye week coming after that, something has to be done. What? That remains to be seen, but even with all of the injuries, this team has far too much talent to be 2-6. Even tonight versus the world champions was a winnable game, but they didn't. The defense, decimated by major injuries, is doing more than its share to win. The Raiders' unimpressive record has only seen one game in which Patrick Graham's side of the ball failed, the Carolina Panthers game. It is now time for the offense to show up and do its job, Al Davis taught Bill Parcells, who ultimately taught Bill Belichick the saying that the Patriots' legendary general is famous for, do your job. Right now, Raider Nation should be collectively asking about the offense doing their job. Why? Because they aren't. There is plenty of blame to pass around, not one player or coach is exempt, but with 9 games remaining, you can't just let it go, something has to be done. The Raiders' offense must follow Al Davis's commandment to do your job. The Chiefs really want to manage Kelce, but they are running out of bodies in the short passing game. That's the primary reason for my optimism about the future Hall of Famer for the remainder of the season. We know that Rashee Rice is done for the season and Juju Smith-Schuster was an early rule out for Week 8. We are angling toward Kelce's third game with 7+ catches over the past month. He may only have 2 finishes better than TE15 this season, but there's not much you can do. Trading him for pennies on the dollar isn't logical with the role as strong as it's been at any point this season, and the waiver wire is a wasteland for the tight end position. Kelce caught 11 of 14 targets against the Raiders, allowing the 7th most yards per catch to the slot this year, last season with a 20-yard grab in both contests. He's still deserving of a Tier 1 designation at the tight end position, even if his production has yet to reflect as much. Are you looking for start/sit advice for other players in your lineup? Read our Week 8 Fantasy Start/Sit Advice cheat sheet for every fantasy-relevant player in every game. Kelce is projected to score 14.3 fantasy points in PPR formats. This includes 5.6 receptions for 62.6 yards and 0.4 touchdowns. Check out the free PFN Fantasy Start/Sit Optimizer for the latest projections and advice for your lineups this week. PFN Insight on the Raiders' defense. After a slow start to the season, the Las Vegas Raiders have been trending up a little in recent weeks. Their worst result of the season was allowing Andy Dalton's Panthers to hang 36 points on them. However, since then, they have allowed the Broncos and Steelers to score 30 points as well. The only positive to take from that is that the performances in those games were better in terms of the underlying metrics. The Raiders are still not a good defense, and the only thing they rank above average in has been the third down conversion rate. Their biggest concern has been generating pressure without blitzing, ranking 27th, and forcing turnovers, ranking 29th. This roster does not have a lot to be positive about on either side of the ball right now. Mahomes passed for 262 yards and 2 touchdowns, becoming the fastest quarterback in NFL history to reach 30,000 yards. He accomplished that in his 103rd game. Matthew Stafford had hit that mark at 109. Mahomes' top target was Travis Kelce, who had 10 catches for 90 yards, both season highs. He last caught double-digit passes on October 22, 2023. And this was the highest yardage output since November 26. Gardner Minshew completed 24 of 30 passes for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns for Las Vegas, but was sacked 5 times.